Okay, we're in Sheviit, Perek Gimel, Mishnah Gimel, third Mishnah in the third chapter of Sheviit. We're going to continue talking about collecting manure in your field. And apparently this is a very interesting and important issue that they had because the Mishnah spends a significant amount of real estate on this issue of how much manure was a person allowed to collect during Sheviit. And the last Mishnah we learned that there was a machloket how much you could collect, and we said it was ad shalosh ashpatot lebeit se'ah shel eser mashpelot shel letech letech. You had to have a letech as a half a core, so you could have 10, you could have 3 piles per beit se'ah, and in each pile was 10 mashpelot, 10 buckets worth of a letech. And we worked out that it was a huge amount. And then Rabbi Shimon said that you were allowed to be mosif al ashpatot. You could have as many piles as you want. Not only could you have larger piles, but you can even have more than 3 in a beit se'ah. Beit se'ah, remember, is the area of 50 by 50 amod. Because the concern would be that if people would see you collecting zevel, collecting manure, they would think you were manuring your field for the future. Okay, so the Mishnah is a continuation. This is a continuation of Rabbi Shimon that he said in the last one you could have more than 3. This seems to be somewhat repetitive. Says the Mishnah, Ose Adam et sadeu shalosh ashpatot lebeit se'ah. Just like we said before, a person could make 3 ashpatot lebeit se'ah, 3 piles of manure in a beit se'ah. Yeter mikan machziv. Okay, all of the commentaries say this is a shibush, it's a problem in the gear, so the word machziv doesn't make any sense here. Machziv means to cut stone. You can see it here, it doesn't have any context whatsoever. Okay, if you look in the English, which I will show you, it says more than this, he must arrange in the form of a tripod. And where do you get tripod from? So the Kahati says it means machziv meniach et ashpatot b'tzurat raglei hachatzuva. Okay, a chatzuva is a tripod. So they're trying to figure out what the language of the word machziv means. But really the girsa, let's look in the Bartender. Yeter mikan, mishalosh, mutar. And then the girsa, some say the girsa is yeter mikan, mutar. Somehow the word machziv got in here. And if you look in the Safraig, Mishnat Eretz Yisrael, he says that in the majority of girsaot, the language of machziv doesn't appear. So yeter mukan, if we look back in the language, Yater mikan mutar, divrei Rabbi Shimon. This is how we already learned in the last Mishnah that Rabbi Shimon allowed more than 3 piles of manure for a beit se'ah. So then the Bartender says he's adding something here. Shari Rabbi Shimon afilu ein eser mashpelot. You're allowed to. Rabbi Shimon said even if each of the piles were not the full 10 buckets worth of a letech, 10 letechs worth. Even if the piles are smaller, you could have more piles. So basically, Rabbi Shimon really didn't limit how many piles you had and how big the piles were. You could have a lot of piles, even though if the piles are smaller, it would start to look like you were fertilizing your field and not just collecting for the future. The Chachamim osrim. Let's go back to the Mishnah. The Chachamim osrim, they prohibit ad she'amik shlosha od she'ad she'agbia shlosha. The Chachamim prohibited collecting more piles unless you dug a ditch 3 tfachim deep, or you made them up, you built them up 3 tfachim high. I guess if the piles, I'm not entirely sure how you have to build them up, because if they're piles, they should be 3 tefachim high anyway. But you had to do something to clearly show that it was a pile of manure and it wasn't you're not just fertilizing the field, so that became clear. So that would be clear to other people that saw you collecting the piles. Now it's actually machloket. Are the Chachamim talking about the original 3 that they have to have special shinui, or the additional? Or the additional above the original 3? That's a machloket in the commentaries, in the Mefarshim. Mishnah continues. Ose Adam et zivlo otzar. You can make your zevel and otzar. Let's look at the Bartender for a second. Ose Adam et zivlo otzar. Otam shalosh ashpot shel shloshim mashpelot. Those 3 piles of 30 mashpelot. Yachol lasot otam ashpa achat. You can make one huge one. Ulosif aleim kama sheyirtzeh. This would make sense because if you think about it, the reason why we're concerned is that people shouldn't think that you're fertilizing the field. But instead of 3 piles, if you have one huge pile, okay, that shouldn't be a problem. Don't think that just like it's prohibited more than 3 piles of beit se'ah, hachanami here too asur yoter mishir shalosh ashpot b'makom echad. You wouldn't think, the person shouldn't think that it would be prohibited, just like I can't have more than 3 piles, so therefore I can't have 1 pile of 3. Because as we said, the whole point is that it shouldn't look like you are fertilizing. Rabbi Meir prohibits ad she'amik shlosha, unless you dig a ditch 3 tfachim deep, or ad she'agbia shlosha, unless you have 3 tfachim high. What about the opposite problem? What if I only have a small amount? Can I put in a small amount or do I have to wait? So the Tanna Kama says, if I have a small amount of manure, I can put in a small amount, and little by little, as I add manure, as I collect my manure, I can add on. And we can see why that would be a problem, because what if you don't have more? Which is the opinion of Rabbi Elazar ben Rabbi Azariah. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah oser ad she'amik shlosha, o ad she'agbia shlosha, o ad she'itena tasela. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah prohibits until you dig a ditch 3 tvachim deep, or you make a pile, I guess, of dirt before you put on manure 3 tvachim high, or unless you put it on a sela on a rocky area. The point is the rocky area, you're not manuring your field. Okay, because the point is, according to the Bartender, Shema, Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah Oser, he prohibits, Shema lo yelo zevel yoter. Maybe you won't have any more. V'nir'eh kimizabel sadehu. Okay, and it looks like you're manuring your field. Ad shiotzi eser mashvelo ki'echad. Unless you bring out the 10 bucketfuls at one time. So it's just fascinating to see how concerned the Chazal were about this problem of nira, of other people, of marit ayin, that people would see you and think, he manures his field, I can manure my field. It was clearly an issue of slippery slope that they were dealing with, as we're going to see in the future. It wasn't universal that everybody kept Shemitah, and they wanted to make rules that were absolutely clear that other people wouldn't start to play games. And I guess the more you were concerned, the more machmir you were about how liberal a person would be, how much manure he could put in his field. We'll stop here. If you have any comments or questions, as always, feel free to contact me at rspolter@gmail.com, and I'll dedicate the learning, as I often do, almost always, to the memory of my father, Harav Simcha ben Yitzchak Kalman. Have a great day.